podcasters are like modern day shock jocks, but like not really though, because isn't like a jock, like isn't that like a disc jockey? Like they
well the term shock jock goes back to the radio hosts that were on music radio. You know, it hasn't always been talk radio. So the shock jock would be someone that would say something shocking in between in between a song. You know, or War of the Roses was considered a shock jock radio bit back in the day, and they still do it today, but it's all with actors, and it's always been with actors. But that's what the shock jock was. Someone that would say something that would be shocking in between a music.
Well, even when Howard Stern first started, that's what he was, right? Like he would talk between songs, but then it turned into like him just having his own like talk radio show. Yeah.
Howard Stern started, on music radio.
Yeah.
And I think that the term shock jock was basically a new term for people that were doing it on radio, because all it really was just raunchy stand up on radio. And then I guess you wouldn't say he's a comedian radio personality. They had to come up with a word like shock jock.
Yeah. It's funny, man. I remember growing up, like all these comedians, which we can get into Joe Rogan if we want, but
maybe I don't want to get into Joe Rogan.
Maybe we don't. But it's funny, like growing up, I remember all these comedians talking about how they hated going on morning radio, and they thought that these radio hosts were just hacks and they had no talent and all they did was just talk on the radio. And now they're all radio hosts because they all just host podcasts. I just find it very ironic and funny.
A lot of people that are big, huge political pundits, like on the big news stations, started off as radio personalities.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people don't. I believe Anderson Cooper started as a radio personality. One of the biggest guys who recently passed earlier this year or the later part of last year. What was that big bloviator that the Orange Man gave a medal to? Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh. Fuck that guy.
He was a radio personality before anything else, at the end of the day. So, and what's that other guy that does, we'll do it live. What's that guy's name?
Fuck it, we're doing it live. Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly started off as a radio personality. These are just shock jocks, folks.
The funny thing about Bill O'Reilly is before he did, well, now I don't even know what the fuck Bill O'Reilly does now, but like before he was on the O'Reilly Factor on Fox News, he did, he was like on E.T., Entertainment Tonight. He covered like fucking, Owen Wilson coming into a red carpet going, oh, wow. Hey, Bill, how's it going?
You just wanted to do your Owen Wilson. You just wanted to do that, didn't you? That's all you wanted to do.
That's crazy. Wow.
and he doubled down. These are just radio personalities, shock jocks from back in the day.
Let's talk to my brother Luke. Hey, Luke. Oh, hey, Owen. Fold. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. Yeah.
And another thing about podcasters is that they entertain themselves with their own Owen Wilson and brother Wilson,
Luke Wilson
impersonation. Luke Wilson, wow. Luke Bryant. Okay, all right, we get it. Wow, we got it, Luke.
That's crazy. Wow.
Oh my God.
It's me from Cars. Ka-chow.
Why does his nose look like a dried up piece of white poop? Well, I
think he broke it. I think he broke it when
clearly, but his nose just looks like, I saw him when he hosted Squidward. Saturday Night Live. Yeah, he's worse than Squidward. It looks like his nose is literally melting and then it just stopped melting. And I know he's famous for that nose, I guess.
Yeah, you can't fix it now. I mean, like,
if he fixed it, he wouldn't be him anymore. It probably wouldn't even work anymore.
I honestly believe he wouldn't be as famous as he is if he didn't have that fucked up nose.
If it wasn't for his nose.
Yeah, because everyone's
It
like,
really
oh, that's
bothered
Owen
me.
Wilson. He's got the fucked up nose.
It bothered me when I saw him host Saturday Night Live. It really bothered me. But and even though we're totally getting off of radio personalities,
That's all right.
Saturday Night Live I watched a few weeks ago because they have that guy that I found on TikTok that does that amazing Donald Trump impersonation.
Yeah.
But they haven't had him do Donald Trump yet. He came out doing Biden.
But he did a great Biden, and he really had a like superstar introduction to SNL. Like he was in every skit that first week.
Yeah, he was. But I was looking for him to do Trump because I've sent you a couple of his TikToks of him doing Trump. He nails Trump better than Frank Caliendo. I can't remember what his name is. But I watched Saturday Night Live, and I'm not a fan of Saturday Night Live, and I'm definitely not going to watch the episode that had the booty on it, the Kardashian. I don't need.
So I watched a little bit of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. I am actually a fan of Saturday Night Live. Once you accept the fact that SNL has always been hit or miss, and like that's just how sketch comedy is, you start to appreciate it more. Because I think a lot of people expect to go in like. They go into SNL thinking like it's all going to be bangers all the time, and it's not. And it never has been. Because they think about their favorite bits from when they were fucking kids, but they don't remember that even back then, their favorite bits were like on episodes where like maybe 1 or 2 episodes was good. But anyway, that is a bit of a side tangent. I watched the one with Kim Kardashian. I thought she was
to see her ass.
I thought she was a fine host. I think it's weird that she was on there at all. Like, why? But also, SNL does that. They bring kind of polarizing figures on there. They've always done that. I mean, they even had Donald Trump on there before he was president. They had Elon Musk on last year. I mean,
that was weird as hell. Elon Musk, I'm telling you, that dude something's wrong with him. Something's wrong with him. Stop moving. Stop all that damn moving. Making me nervous. Making my running up my air bill. Stop all that damn moving. Nobody need you to be moving that much.
I can't.
But anyway, it's the actor. I'm waiting for him to do it. So if you see an SNL, if you see an episode of it and he does it, hit me up and let me know. If not, I'm not watching it. I'm a fan. I used to be a fan of SNL. It's hit or miss. You are right, but lately it's been a lot of miss. And Weekend Update, I can't get past Shay's teeth. It's just like all I see is teeth and eyes.
James Austin Johnson is his name. By the way, there you go. I like the Weekend Update crew. I think they're pretty good. I think they do fine. I like the two of them.
Michael Shay's teeth are everywhere, dude. How do you get past his teeth? He never ever
really noticed.
His teeth never come apart. His teeth are everywhere, man.
Never really noticed.
Just his fucking teeth. That's all I see.
Let's give it up for Colin Jost making $40 million though, huh?
That's crazy.
God bless him.
He probably makes more than Michael Shay.
Oh, I mean, absolutely, because his wife is Scarlett Johansson. So, yeah.
That's talk about your equality there. They do the same amount.
I'm not saying he gets paid more for Weekend Update. I just mean he's married to Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, yeah. Well, he lucked out on that. We've talked about that before.
I bet Colin Jost works for free because he's like, I just like being on SNL. I don't need to work. I have Scarlett Johansson, and if things go south, I get half of her money anyway. It's all good.
He married her, didn't he?
Yeah, they're married. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. What's the bad boy of SNL? The tall, skinny
Pete Davidson
boy that was stooping down Ariana Grande for a while.
Pete Davidson.
Dreamboat.
I like him. It's funny.
There was word that he was having his tattoos removed.
It's funny. When I first discovered Pete Davidson, like when he first joined SNL, I was not a fan. I was like, this guy's not funny. He doesn't say anything. I've really come around on him. I've really come around on him.
Funny though.
I've come around on him. I think he is actually kind of funny. I think he is.
He's got that smoke show bad boy thing going on, and I think that's what his appeal is. And I'm not dogging him. I don't think he's funny, but I enjoy him on the show. I love it because he's just so. I think his appeal is the fact that he's not funny. I think that's what Intel makes him funny.
I think he's the same kind of funny Adam Sandler was, where he was just sort of a goofball.
Yes.
And like,
that's exactly it.
And I think he also is one of those SNL casts that I think has the potential to go on and have a really good acting career. I feel like he could probably bring a good like somber performance. You know, I feel like he could actually pull it off. Sort of like
I never saw the movie he released though. He's
been in a couple. King of Staten Island's pretty good.
Yeah, I never saw King of Staten Island, and because I don't want to pay for it, I want to stream it free or stream it on. I think it's on Amazon. It's like $6.99 or something.
It's on Hulu now, I think.
Is it on Hulu? I have Hulu.
That's where I watched it.
Hulu.
Yeah. And then I think he was in a movie called Big Time Adolescence.
I just know that's King of Staten Island.
Yeah, Big Time Adolescence was cool. The weird thing about those two movies, though, he plays the same exact character in both movies. It's like I'm a mid-20-year-old who's a deadbeat and lives with my mom. You know, that's kind of. But King of Staten Island has more of a like, it was kind of like a love letter to firefighters as well. So it had that going for it.
Why doesn't he have any nudes online?
That's
what we need.
He strikes me as a dude that would just do that for just cause. So
we need those, Pete, if you're listening.
He doesn't seem very bashful. So should we start the show?
The show did start, right? What the hell are we doing?
We never did the 5, 6, 7, 8.
Oh, but that's just like the interlude. The show is technically started 12 minutes ago.
Right, but like this is the what do we call it? The
vignette?
Yeah, this is the vignette. It's not the actual show.
Right, but you said should we start the show? And I'm like, the show's been started 12 minutes ago.
Not the official show. This is the vignette, which is not the official show.
Oh, so you want to kick it to the transition music.
I want to be like Beastie Boys and kick it.
Kick it. 5, 6, 7,
8. You know, I might risk the fact. I might risk the copyright claim just to put that in there. What is up, boyos? Welcome to the Jake and Cory podcast. I am Jake. That is Cory. What is up, Cory?
What is up, Jake?
You know, I entered the dome today, Cory.
What's the dome?
I entered and I couldn't leave. It wouldn't let me out. I walked into the dome. I couldn't get out of the dome. Okay. DC Fandom was today. And if you remember, we talked about it last year, actually. They had a DC Fandom. And, you know, they just talked about all the DC stuff. It was pretty entertaining. It was way too long. It was like 4.5 hours long of just a bunch of DC stuff coming out. But some notable things. There's a new Flash movie, and Michael Keaton's Batman is going to be in it, which is...
Ooh.
Exciting. They teased it. You remember Michael Keaton's Batman?
He was Beetlejuice.
He was Beetlejuice. He was also the first Batman.
Don't say it a third time. He'll appear.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton. It's showtime.
So that trailer was sick. And then they also showed off the Batman trailer where we got Robert Pattinson rocking it as Batman. And that
dreamboat.
It looks fantastic. So that's what's been up with me. I'll probably get into greater detail with Nick on Monday, but
so that was like the big thing. What was it called? The DC Dome?
The DC Fandom. I entered the dome, and they don't tell you when you enter the dome. You can't leave the dome. You're stuck in the dome. Can't leave it. You're in there forever.
I'm surprised that there wasn't something very, very prominent discussed while in the dome.
Like, what do you mean?
I have a little article here I'd like to read to you, that you don't mind.
Please, I would love to hear it.
Superman's done a lot since he first appeared in comic books.
That was mentioned. But yeah, go ahead.
Almost. He saved the world more than a few times. He has died and come back to life. He's dodged punches from Muhammad Ali and even faced off against white supremacists. Until this year, though, every comic iteration of Superman has been bestowed with long-time love Lois Lane. But in an upcoming issue of the new Superman series, the Man of Steel enters into a queer relationship. The 5th issue of the DC Comics series Superman, son of Kal-El, or however the hell you pronounce it.
Kal-El, yeah.
Will confirm that the new Superman, John Kent, child of Clark Kent and Lois Lane, is bisexual after falling for Jay Nakamura, a male reporter. Yeah. Superman's son likes the dong.
Yeah.
And the kitty cat.
I find it interesting that everyone's all kind of like all bent up out of shape about this. Because a lot of people are like, I don't need to know about his sexuality. Why do I need to know about it? And it's like, well, you don't complain when it's Lois Lane and Clark Kent. You don't complain when it's Batman and his legion of women that he fucks, Talia al Ghul, Selena Kyle,
Selena Gomez.
Maybe Selena Gomez. We don't talk about it with any of them. But then as soon as this guy's railing a guy, we're all up in arms. And then everyone's like, well, create a new character. Bruh, John Kent is like less than 10 years old as a character. Like, he's a pretty new character. They're still fleshing him out. And in comparison to fucking Batman, who's been around for nearly 100 years, there's plenty to flesh out there as far as his sexuality. I think the people who have an issue with it just are afraid of gay people.
So you have an issue with it?
No, I have no issue with it.
It's not Superman. It's Superman's son.
Who's taken up the mantle of Superman.
Well, yeah, but it's not right. Superman. Superman is 80 years old. Lois Lane ain't getting it no more. He is no longer the Man of Steel. He's the Man of Limp. He's 80. Now, unless he's taken, that Pfizer COVID penis pill, he might still be able to stoop down Lois Lane every once in a while and put her fat cankles to Jesus. But I doubt it if he's doing that now. So, of course, his son is stooping down. It's a dude, but he's not gay. He's bi. He likes both of them. He's like gay. The Kristen Cinema of comic books.
His sexuality is actually a lot like his race because he's half alien, he's half gay. I mean,
he really is. Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing. I want to know this. When John starts stooping down old Nakamura over there and he's giving him the old mini Man of Steel pipe, if Nakamura just happens to have a little kryptonite, does that affect John's?
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
You think kryptonite, ruins the mood?
Yeah. That's gonna definitely. But here's a question. A lot of people are all upset about, John Kent, and his love interest. But let's just take it back for a minute, okay? What about the fact that John Kent even exists and Lois Lane, okay? Now, hear me out for a second. Let me go on my diatribe here. Let me get on my soapbox. What is it like to fuck Superman?
It's gotta hurt.
He's just gonna destroy your cervix. It's gonna explode. It's gonna just, and when he comes, does it come out like fucking lightning? Are his semen super powered as well? So these are all the questions. And then on top of that, Lois Lane was able to conceive an alien child that clearly has superpowers like Mr. Steel himself, Mr. Steel Man himself. So, what's that like, holding that? And then when she gives birth, does he come out just, blasting out of her vagina? What happens there? I imagine it's some sort of horror scene. So these are things that we're not talking about. Instead, we're talking about him being bi. Come on, guys. If we're really nerds, these are the things we're going to be talking about. And this is what I've come to realize, Cory. It started out a few years ago, 2015-ish, when the whole anti-SJW thing started, where, we had to complain about Star Wars because, the new main character is a girl, or we had to complain that there's, a person of color in these movies. And what I've come to realize over time is the people who claim to love these things and they're saying, oh, they're ruining my favorite things. They just hate everything. They don't like anything. They complained about the new James Bond, because there's a black person in the movie. These people are just racist. They're just homophobic. And it's really stupid. How about we just enjoy the stories they're telling? And if you don't enjoy the story they're telling, read something else, man. There's a million fucking comic books. Go read something else. Go watch a different movie. Do
you think Superman would have to have like a big penis, or would he be able to work with like a 3-incher? I mean, he's fucking Superman.
He's got to have a small dick though, because we've seen him in those underoos.
But those are really tight and constricting. Those are kind of like dancer underwear.
That's what I mean.
You know what I mean? Where it's holding it all in, so it just looks uniform. You know what I mean? And that's a very good question. When Superman reaches climax, I think when John Kent was being made, we all knew John Kent was being made, because I believe John Kent is around the same age as that volcano reactivating 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So when Superman busts, volcanoes explode. You're talking about the Man of Steel who can take a bullet but will dodge someone throwing a gun at him. This is what we're talking about here. I really want to dive into the logistics of Superman boinking Lois Lane.
Yeah,
was his grandma there? Who taught Superman how to have sex?
I mean, who taught you how to have sex? Was someone there to teach you how to do that?
Pornhub.
Well, sure, but I'm sure he watched Pornhub. But I'm sure also,
did he use his X-ray vision when he was watching Pornhub, or did he just watch it regularly? It's Superman here.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I wonder about his X-ray vision. We always assume that he can see through clothes, but that's not how X-rays work. He can see through skin to the bones.
So he probably saw through Lois Lane's skin right to her cervix, and then just skeet it to the window, to the wall, right through her skin. There was probably never any penetration, so Lois Lane is probably still right tight, nice down there still.
He definitely had to hold back, because he would destroy her if he gave even a little force. Can he hold
back though?
I think he can. He saves a kitten from a tree. That's what we love about Superman, is he knows how to control his strength. There's a great scene, actually, if I can actually get kind of nerdy here for a second. There's a great scene in Jessica Jones on Netflix. Jessica Jones is a lot like Superman. She can't fly or anything, but she has super strength. That's her thing. And
so she's not like Superman then.
Well, I mean, Superman has super strength and can fly, but the sex thing is really only affected by the strength, right? So with Jessica Jones, she talks about how she has to take it easy. She can't go crazy. Then she meets this guy named Luke Cage who also has super strength, and they go fucking crazy, destroy his bed and shit. And it's so yeah, I bet Clark just kind of has to, he just has to take it easy, that kind of sucks for him. But I wonder about his masturbation, right? Because Clark can literally fly so fast around the Earth that he changes the rotation of the Earth to make us go back in time. That we've proven that's how fast he is. So imagine he's trying to fap one out real quick. Does he go so fast that he creates a tornado in his bedroom and just what happens? These are good questions.
Or does he go so fast that he reverses his puberty? I mean, those are things. And let me be, I'm a little concerned about Lois Lane now, because Superman can leap a building in a single bound. He's faster than a locomotive. Did Lois Lane even get a chance to finish?
I know.
I mean, he was in there. Did he just hit it and quit it? Or this is how I really think it happened. He had to have like skeeted into like a titanium bucket on the other side of the earth. And then they took that and they turkey basted Lois Lane. They had to. There is no way that Lois Lane's vajayjay would be able to handle Superman's Superman.
Yeah, see, I'm kind of convinced that she loves him for his personality and not for his libido, and that's why Jimmy Olsen is around.
That's probably so. Or since this is like, they're making John Kent bisexual, maybe they're going to keep up with the times again, and later in future Superman comics, we're going to find out John Kent is not actually Superman's baby.
How does that work, though? He's got superpowers.
He got it from, well, because Lois Lane isn't a spitter, she has some of Superman's DNA. I can't even complete that joke. That was so disgusting.
No, I got another question for you here. Okay.
Yes, hey, anything related to Superman's penis, I know.
Well, it's not necessarily Superman, but it's about Wolverine. Okay, the character Wolverine.
Those knives.
Wolverine has super healing ability.
Mm-hmm.
Can he be circumcised?
No.
He can't be.
Well, he can, but then it just
goes back.
Uncircumcises.
Now, here's another question for you. Okay, Deadpool also has that healing ability, but that came later because of an experiment. Let's say Deadpool was circumcised. Would it heal? Would he just be uncircumcised after he gets the healing factor?
Probably so. And I'm just thinking off the top of my head, Aquaman. Can he really get a girl wet, or is that just a byproduct of his environment?
Well, they're all fish. Fish work different. Their anatomy is just different than ours.
I bet you Aquaman is probably like a seahorse. He can just impregnate himself.
I always imagined that, he doesn't really even have sex. Like the lady Aquaman from Atlantis, like they lay eggs is what I always imagined.
He just goes and spermicides the eggs.
Yeah, I always imagined.
In the water. Yeah, dude, we're breaking it down, man. We are community building here.
Yeah.
Folks.
I always imagined, the Atlanteans laid eggs. They must.
No matter how these DC comic characters have sex, one thing is certain, Jake. One thing is certain. I'd watch any one of them do it.
Well, there's plenty of videos online of that, so.
Yeah, but it's always freaky weird, and it's always a fat dude that's Superman, and some old saggy boob chick that's Lois Lane.
Not when it's Johnny Sins, though.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good Superman.
Nah, I need a little more than that, Jakey.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's funny that we can have
I don't care.
We can have conversations. We can have conversations like this, and this is how stupid comics are. They really are this stupid.
Uh-huh.
And these are topics that a comic book would absolutely talk about. Like, for real. Like, comic books are that stupid. They're like, yeah, we will acknowledge that Aquaman lays eggs or whatever. Like, comic books are that fucking stupid. And
how do they get it done? How do they get it in?
And we're upset.
You gotta have some type of sex drive. You know what I'm saying?
We're upset that Jonathan Kent is bisexual. Like, fucking, what's her name? Starfire from Teen Titans.
Star Jones.
She learns languages by kissing people. We're not going to talk about that, but we're going to be upset about fucking John Kent being bisexual. Harley Quinn is bisexual.
Are people really upset about John Kent though? I think it's just news, and it's kind of cool. I haven't heard any outrage.
I've heard some.
I've just
people.
heard that.
Yeah, I've seen
Superman's son is bisexual.
It's the same. It's the same. Day. It's the same fucking people. But here's the thing, dude. I was watching that DC fandom, you know, and I would look at the chat from time to time. I was on IGN's live stream of it, and I would look at the chat, and every time there would be a black character, they would just say, "Oh, so woke. DC so woke." And it's like, what? How? They just hired an actor. Like, what do you mean? And then at one point, I can't even say it, but there's a character in Harley Quinn called Kite Man. You can imagine what the chat was calling him in the comments. And it's just,
dude, chat is always the most vile place of any live stream.
I understand that. But here's the thing. Those are real people typing in that chat. And people actually think like that.
Those are trolls.
They may be trolls, but most of the trolls, you know, that comes from somewhere.
That's true. But if you take that troll from behind that keyboard, they don't. 95% of them wouldn't be.
I'm totally of the opinion that
chat.
I'm totally of the opinion that most of the trolls that like say shit like that, that's who they really are. And then who they present as to us, like if they were to meet us, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, John Kent is fine, whatever, blah blah blah." That's not who they actually are. You know, it's kind of like Batman, where Batman is actually Batman. Bruce Wayne is not actually Bruce Wayne. That's the, you know, he's pretending to be Bruce Wayne. So you
think the troll is their real personality and
what they actually think.
In-person person is the ruse.
Right, because they have to keep up appearances. Yeah, I actually think that. Not for everyone, obviously, but...
I mean, there's some
that are just saying
to that, but there's some that are just out there saying shit just to say shit, just to get the reaction. And then, because I do it all the time, I have 12 fucking people that have to monitor my live stream chats just to get trolls out.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like say something like that just to rile someone up, you know?
I think there's people out there that are so that have zero value in their existence that they get off on.
But then if you were actually to like search into those people who are going to act like that in chat and to like actually get their real perspectives on things, you wouldn't think they actually believe that stuff?
I think that there's a percentage of them that do it just for the shockery value of it and just to invoke a reaction from other people. However, Jake, I believe that there are some people that really do 100% feel that way and use the internet to voice their true feelings. So the answer to your question is yes and no.
I think more often than not, they actually believe that shit. And I also think that a lot of like racism and bigotry, homophobia, you know, any of the isms. But I think a lot of that starts out as like, oh, look at me, I'm being so ironic, you know, like I'm so ironic. Obviously, I don't mean that. It's so ironic. And then it becomes real, you know, like over time, you say something.
Internet muscles.
But like you say something so much, you start to believe it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah, I was actually like just kind of disturbed that while watching the DC fandom, and I sort of looked at chat and I was just like, Jesus Christ. And it wasn't like some people were like, oh, this is fun. And like there were a few. It was like the whole fucking chat was just like being blatantly offensive.
Have you never watched the Twitch streamers chat?
I mean, yeah, but that's what I mean, though. That kind of proves my point even more. Yeah,
but there are just some stupid people out there. But I think that there is a level of
that's my point. It's fucking weird, man.
For the shockery of it, and there's people that do it because they feel like it's their platform. It's their chance to spew their vile.
Yeah, I know, but that's my point, though. It's just like it's disgusting. I hate it.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. It's one of the reasons why I don't open chats when I'm like watching Twitch streamers or anything like that. And I don't even monitor the chat for my own show because sometimes bile leaks in through there, and I don't want to have to deal with it. It takes me out of my mojo. It takes my mojo. It takes my Superman mojo.
Yeah, it's also just sort of like old, you know. It's like,
oh yeah,
if you think it's funny,
it goes back to the Yahoo chat days, man.
Yeah.
Yahoo chat days where, you know, you just have people in there just talking all kind of shit and saying as much offensive shit as possible. And now those people find large platforms like the DC Dome to go on and talk shit and to round up. And then what happens is that people that are like-minded, they end up, you know, clicking into their little icon, and then they end up friending them, and then before you know it, you got this whole little circa of people that are stupid. And you know, birds of a feather flock together. Dumb rides with dumb.
Well, I'm almost nervous to bring this up because I don't even want to like talk about it too much.
Oh boy.
But like, that's kind of how I felt while watching the new Dave Chappelle special.
I have not watched it.
Okay, we don't have to talk about it too much. Honestly, I think Dave is getting like a little too much hate, but like, what I got away from it was not like, oh, Dave is so like transphobic, which I do think he kind of is, but like, that was not my main takeaway. My main takeaway was just sort of like, dude, these jokes are old, man. Like, are we really gonna do like attack helicopter jokes? You know, like I identify as the attack like, are we really gonna? It's just sort of like, it's not even funny, man. It's like, that's just old, man. Like, you know, like Rodney Dangerfield was really funny back in the day, but if someone went up and did a Rodney Dangerfield set nowadays, they'd be like, this is old material, dude. Like, why are you doing that? You know,
like it's repurposed material.
So just like, it's just like outdated
jokes that you've heard before.
Yeah, or not even like so much that it's jokes that I've heard before, because he's obviously good at crafting a joke. It's just sort of like the topics. It's like, dude, this is kind of like, are we still talking about this? Like, really?
Is he playing to his? Is he showing his age?
I mean,
is his jokes not aging well with the times?
Half of his fucking special is just about trans people. Like half of the special. And I do appreciate at the end of the special, he said, listen, I don't want to make any more trans jokes after this unless we're all laughing together, which I appreciate that, you know, like that's a good send off. And I think that's a good sentiment. Like, and you know, cause like the whole reason he left the Chappelle show in the first place was cause he would make some racial jokes, and he thought that, some of these white people were laughing a little too hard at some of those jokes. You know what I mean? So the same could be said about some of those trans jokes, and they could be interpreted pretty badly by, you know, and a lot of the people who are kind of like defending it are maybe people who shouldn't be laughing at that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I will probably watch it tonight because my Netflix and chill date conked out on me. So I will probably watch it tonight. I got nothing else to do. So it'll just be me, my tacos, and Dave Chappelle.
Listen, I thought the special had some really funny jokes. There were like, I think Dave Chappelle is great at crafting a joke. I really don't think anyone does it better than him. You know, like he's one of the best.
It's an art form. It's an art form on the way that he cracks a joke. It's a freaking art form.
But when he comes out and he says, I identify as a TERF, which literally means trans exclusionary radical feminist, it's kind of like, dude, come on. And then, you know, he ends it by talking about how he had a friend who was trans who ended up committing suicide. And, you know, it's a nice story or whatever, but like, it almost felt like, hey, look, I have a black friend, so like I can make racist, you know, it felt like the same sort of sentiment. And it's just sort of like, I don't know, dude. It just felt a little off. And I'm happy he said like, I'm done doing these kind of jokes after this, because yeah, dude, you need to stop.
Yeah, I would go with you a little bit more in detail, but I haven't seen it. Yeah, I will watch it. It's in my Netflix queue. I saw it, but you know, unfortunately, Netflix. Something else on Netflix had my something on Netflix had my attention. If that didn't send a chill through your spine right now,
I haven't even watched the show, and I know exactly what you're talking about.
you gotta get in on this disaster. It is the equivalent of the 2021 version of The Upside Down, but it's the right side up with subtitles. Talking about Squid Game. I dove into this, Jake, and I know, Austin, prepare yourself. It's double dipping content because I did do
That's all right.
15 minutes of this on Fat Guy. So Austin, prepare yourself. And Austin, I can't wait till we have our naked cooking night. So Squid Games is what I'm talking about. I'm all in. It's it has swept the world, literally the world is all in on Squid Games. And it is just so beautifully shot, beautifully written, beautifully. I was introduced to actors that I didn't even know, but they are huge in Korea, and they never had a worldwide footprint or exposure. And here's the funny thing: is Squid Games is not new. This concept or the script has been around since 2008. And let's just say, Jake, and I'm not going to talk about what happens in Squid Games. Watch it if you haven't. I took a deep dive into this, looking at YouTube clips, looking at behind the scenes clips, looking at interviews with the actors, diving into that one dreamboat of a Korean actor, just really taking a deep dive into this script and what it meant and why the director did things the way that he did. And the sets are elaborate. You look at them in the movie and you think there's no way this can't be CGI. There's very little CGI in this thing. They literally went old school and built the sets for Squid Games, and it's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And I don't want to go too deep into it, Jake, because I want you to see it. I want to watch it. I want you to watch it. I would love to watch it with you, because I'm going to watch it again. Here's how it sucked me so far in. I have been the king of refusing to watch anything that I have to read. I don't want to read my TV. I don't want to read my movies. But Squid Game, from the moment it came on, I had to read English subtitles. Little D, my little brother, hipped me to the fact that there is a English dubbed version of it, and I guess I didn't see that. I only got the original one with the Korean language with English subtitles. But I watched it, all of it, from start to finish, binged it in 2 days.
Did you watch it all dubbed or subbed?
I watched it all dubbed because I didn't realize that there was a English subbing.
Oh, you mean you watched it all subbed? Because subbed is subtitled.
Yeah, with all subtitles.
So not English dubbed. Gotcha.
Right. And
I
don't do that. I refuse to do that.
Well, go ahead. Sorry, keep going.
I refuse to do that, but that there, folks, take it from me, it's that riveting that I kept it in. Here's what I will say. It's not a spoiler, but I will say there's a cliffhanger in the series. I don't want that cliffhanger solved. I want them to leave that cliffhanger where it is. There's several cliffhangers in this series. Don't come back and do more. Leave it. Go out on the high note. You are mind effing everybody in the world right now in every language. Don't go back and change and finish off the story. I don't want a happily ever after 2 Squid Games. Stop it here. Don't do any more. Season 1, 9 episodes. That's it. Don't come back and do more. Because if you do, what's that other thing with the Upside Down? What's that
Stranger
Netflix
Things
show called? Stranger Things. Stranger Things, first season,
great.
Blockbuster. Shocked the world.
Yeah.
They came back in season 2 and they started to lose a little bit of it.
Yeah.
That motherfucker has now been around for 4 seasons. It should have hit it and quit it in season 1.
Season 3 was better though.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have had to come back. They should have just left
agree.
it alone, man.
And
they should have just left it alone.
Here's the funny thing, Corey. While you're saying this, I kind of bounced after season 1 of Stranger Things because I was like,
I did too.
This is that should be it. Like that was perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Don't do any more.
And here's the thing: I saw that Stranger Thing, or what's it called, Squid Games.
Squid Games.
I saw that Squid Games is getting a sequel or like a season 2, and I was just like, I don't really want to watch it anymore. That's kind of how I felt. You know what?
If I didn't see it in season 1, and I heard about all the buzz, and then I also heard that there's a season 2, I'd probably be in the same mind of you. But it's like but I'm glad that you understand that. I don't want them to finish the story. I don't want the story to end.
The only way I could be okay with them having a second season is if they had always planned to, and they were like, we have a story structure that's season 1, 2, and 3, and that's it. Because I prefer shows like that where it's like either one season or it's like we have 3 seasons, but we always intended it to be 3 seasons. I hate it when shows like Stranger Things, it seems, where it was like we intended to make 1 season, then it was so popular, then we made a second season. And so I don't know what's up with Squid Games. I haven't heard any interviews with the guy. I haven't watched it yet. Few thoughts real quick, though. My thoughts on Squid Games, not having seen it. Korean culture is really blowing up in the West, which is really cool, I think. Specifically with like K-pop being super popular over here. And then, of course, just like a couple years ago, Parasite won Best Movie at the Oscars, which, now that you've watched a Korean subbed television show, I'm going to force you to watch fucking Parasite now, Corey, because you always told me, no, I'm not watching it because I don't read shit. Now I'm going to force you to watch it, you son of a bitch.
You know what, Jake? If you come to my house and tie me to my couch, I will watch it.
I would love to watch that movie again. So yeah, absolutely.
This is what I will agree somewhat to your Parasite thing. Because now I see that there can be some validity. I will not, and I will refuse this until my death, Jake. I will not watch live TV closed captioning. Never.
Oh no!
I ripped that closed caption button off my remote.
Yeah.
Here's what this is, Jake.
I can't watch a movie without subtitles though. Like even English ones.
That's weird.
I like subtitles, especially like when you're watching like a Christopher Nolan movie.
ADD, bro. You got to listen. Or you got to play with the remote, the volume. Jake, this is what season 2 Squid Games is why they're doing it, or why it's been greenlit. Because of its popularity of season 1.
You think so?
I'm gonna say this very, very carefully. The plot and context of Squid Games, it would be very easy to write 15 more seasons of it. Okay? Once you watch it, you'll understand what I just said. But the context and the plot of it, they could go on for 15 more seasons if it was originally written that way. I don't believe it was. I don't believe it was written to go more than 1 season. And the cliffhanger is in itself the cliffhanger. What it does in some of these, there's several cliffhangers that happen not even at the last episode. There's cliffhangers that happen throughout the series. If they left those without solving them, it will let the audience draw their own conclusion. It will let the audience have dialogue and conversations about it. Don't solve it. Leave it unsolved. But the only reason why, Jake, they're going to do a season 2 is because of the popularity, not because it's going to lend to the story. It was never, I don't believe it was written. None of the interviews that I've seen of the director ever mentioned that he wrote this to have to have multiple seasons. I don't think it was. Season 2 is going to suck. I'm going to say it now. And they haven't even started filming it yet. It's going to suck.
Yeah, I know exactly your feelings. There's a very famous video game which I know you love talking about video games, but it's called The Last of Us, which I've talked extensively about on this show. Which currently they're filming a television show for that game, a live action television show starring Pedro Pascal. It looks amazing. I've seen some set photos. Looks really cool. Very excited for the show. But that game ends with like a bit of a cliffhanger, but like it's a beautiful cliffhanger because it makes you wonder like, I wonder what that means for them. But it's like a beautiful way to end the story. And I remember when they announced the sequel, I was like, oh no, like I don't want a sequel to this, you know? Right. But then the sequel came out, and it came out to be like a masterclass of storytelling. So I guess what I'm saying is like, if Squid Games had intentionally been a 1-season show, which it may have been, and it gets a sequel, and I would probably only watch the first season. But if I hear as much buzz about the second season as I'm hearing about this season, I'd probably give the second season a chance too. Because it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna be shit. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean, because if they have some, you know, they might be crafty about it. They might take some routes that you're not expecting. And I know nothing about the show, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, it could be, you know, you never know. It's when once it gets to about season 5, that's when I start to worry about a show.
Season 2 for Squid Games is literally going to be trying to shine the shiniest diamond. It's already shined, man. Mm-hmm. Just let everybody enjoy its shimmer.
It's like Die Hard 2.
That was pretty damn good.
It's like Die Hard 2, dude. I watched Die Hard 2 today, or like part of Die Hard 2, and I'm just like, this didn't need to happen. Die Hard was so perfect. We don't need a Die Hard 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They go out. Go out on a high, man.
Yeah.
Go out on a high.
There are certain franchises, you know, that can go on forever and ever, like Friends, or, you know, or like even like Batman or James Bond, which we have talked about over the past 2 weeks. Like, these kind of franchises, I think, can go on forever, but there are certain stories that are just like, I don't want this. I want the finality of it. I want it to, you know, I want the full story. Which is often why I like movies over television shows, because there's more finality with movies than TV shows.
This would have been a phenomenal movie. You know what, Jake? You hit the nail on the head. Squid Games would have been a phenomenal movie. It would have been a long movie, but it would have been a great movie. It doesn't need to be a season series situation. It could have easily been a movie. 100%. I'm not excited. For the number 2. I'm not. It's going to tank.
Well, I
can't reshine the diamond.
I'm gonna have to give it a shot. I've been watching that Midnight Mass show on Netflix. I've watched a couple episodes of that, and I'm really, really liking it. I'd actually like to know your opinions about it, because it has a lot to do with it's kind of like a horror show, but it has a lot of church references, and
why you want my opinion for church references, Jake?
Well, because I grew up in the church, right? And watching this, it's kind of interesting to see this. And I know you grew up in the church as well.
I'm still in the church.
Exactly. I know this. And this is why I would like to have your opinion on it, because it's kind of interesting. And I like the kind of creepy take that they're taking on it. And it's I feel like a very accurate depiction of churches. And
let's hold hands on the couch and I'll watch it.
Yeah. I can't watch this one again, because it is a bit of a slow roller. It's definitely
punch out on it then.
Yeah, I'm not expecting you to watch it. It's fine.
Where is it? What is it on?
It's on Netflix.
Hulu, Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
All right. What is it called?
It's called Midnight Mass.
Better write that down.
But yeah, it's a bit of a slow roll, but like the acting is phenomenal. The setup to like whatever kind of sinister thing is going on is very intriguing. I am into it, but it is a slow roll. It's one of those kind of shows where
is it a movie or a series?
It's a series. It's but I think this one will be like it will have finality because it's made by the guys who made. I don't know if you've seen these shows, but there's Haunting at Hill House and Haunting at Bly Manor. It's made by the same person. But yeah, I think it's
one more thing about
wonderful.
Squid Games real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Squid Games has some Hunger Games influences.
Yeah, when you said Battle Royale, because we were talking about it before the show, you mentioned it. Because I asked, is it like Saw? Because when I heard about it, I was like, oh, it's like you play these games, and if you fuck up the game, you die. So I'm like, this shit is like Saw. But you said it's more like a Battle Royale, and so like Hunger Games.
I said, think Hunger Games meets Wheel of Fortune.
I think you specifically said Battle Royale. Did you not?
No, I would have never said Battle Royale. I don't know what Battle Royale is.
Battle Royale is also an Asian film that Hunger Games took a lot of its inspiration from.
Oh, yeah.
It's a Japanese movie that the Hunger Games took a lot of inspiration from it. It's a much more fucking
the Hunger
brutal,
Games
but
books took inspiration from Battle Royale.
Correct. Well, and the movies, Yeah.
And the movies. Yeah. Squid Games. Watch it if you haven't. It's really, it actually really is cool. And if you dig into it and you're one of those pontificating persons, you will really be able to connect to the story and the plot of it. I'm not saying it's like an eye-opening experience, but if you're one of those pontificating individuals, you will enjoy pontificating this story in Squid Games. You really will.
And also
highly recommended.
Also, another show, if you haven't seen it, and you really should, you should look up the Jake and Cory podcast on podcast services near you. It goes live every Monday, so make sure you look it up every Monday. Another show you should look up, if you haven't heard of it, is Last Week in Games, starring me and Nicholas Sapon, which is live on twitch.tv/lonercast every Monday at 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. And another show you should watch if you haven't watched it is Fat Guy Radio Show, which is live on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Yeah.
You don't want to watch that. Jesus.
Did you like my transition to the ending there?
That was beautiful. What is the new show with you and Nikki?
Last Week in Games.
Last Week in Games. Translation? 5, 6, 7, 8.